All right. So let's find a comfortable seat. And as you close your eyes, see if you can just have a moment of just gratitude for this practice that you all have cultivated so deeply in your lives. You're so consistent, all of you are so consistent with your yoga practice, and what a gift. So I'm hoping that when you sit comfortably right now and settle into the beginning of your practice, that you recognize the gift that you have given yourself by continually stepping onto your mat. Right? So sometimes these gifts are very subtle, sometimes they're very obvious. So, whatever it is, let's hold a moment of gratitude for this time and mind training, body training that you've cultivated within you. And just recognize some of the gifts of your practice. What what comes to your mind first of how your practice has supported your well-being, mind, body, and spirit. Remember that each day we offer our practice to ourselves as meeting ourselves in that moment. So, whatever the needs are for your body today, for your mind today, allow your practice to kind of morph around what those needs are. So, whatever I have on tap does not need to be what you have on tap. So, the gift of a home practice is just being in your own practice, right? So, follow, don't follow, whatever works. All right, so as you settle into your body, look inward as your eyes softly close and you feel that restfulness of your lids and the restfulness of all the muscles around your eyes. See if you can let the surrender that's starting to occur around your eyes help you to turn the gaze inward. Just notice. Feel your shoulders release. Feel the sense of heart opening space. Feel your collarbones. Give that sense of a lift and widening. And open up into your breath. What's available in your ribs and in your diaphragm and in your abdomen and in your pelvis to receive the open breath, to give away the completed breath. The sense that your breathing is a full body experience, that it's not just this mechanical in and out through your nose. Can you feel your cells kind of dance and light up as they receive the inhale? Can you feel the exhale kind of release yourself just a little bit? What is there to let go of? Keep softening the base of the skull itself, the eyes, the shoulders, the jaw, the tongue, all the places. And you feel ready, bring your hands together and let this mudra truly be a centering of yourself, kind of honing in and merging the way your mind is thinking, the way your breath is moving, the way your heart feels, that centering into the midline of the body, feeling the hands merge with each other. And in this grounded, centered place, offer an intention for your well-being on whatever level you need it today. Release your hands. And let's find our way coming onto our mat. All right, so as you come to stretch out and lengthen, remember, just because this is the way I like to warm up my body doesn't mean it has to be the way you warm up your body. So if you have a different pathway to kind of start your practice, by all means. I used to have a teacher many years ago that would always start her classes standing. And that's great too. So, however you want to be in your body in the beginning is great. All right, so if you're following, reach your arms overhead and let's climb that ladder where you just kind of stretch one side and stretch the other and kind of take stock. How are your shoulders? How's your back feeling? How about your hips? Can you give a little wiggle to your hands and your feet and kind of touch some awareness of the edges of your body? And then draw your knees into your chest and let's rock a little bit, swaying, kind of moving just in that gentle fashion where you're kind of rocking side to side. All right, let's hang on to the knees and let's roll, kind of rolling in one direction, rolling in another direction. And let's open up the knees and kind of find our way into some range of motion in our hips, and notice your back and how your low back might be experiencing this posture. And then right knee into your chest and left leg along on the ground. Say hello to your feet. Wiggle through your toes, roll around in your ankles. Have an appreciation for spreading out your bones and getting your feet out of shoes and open to the air. Let your head rest. Go ahead and switch sides, left knee into your chest, right leg on the ground. And one of the things that I always am amazed by is when I bring my awareness back to my upper body after exploring my feet for a moment, inevitably I have a little something to let go of that my head wants to pick up off the ground. My shoulders want to pick up off the ground. So maybe that's true for you too. So take a moment to let them rest again. And then let's reach out into a star. Spread your wings, wiggle your fingers and your toes, maybe roll your wrists and your ankles around. And then as you're ready, draw your knees into your chest and pick up your head and have a nice little snug hug. One more time, expanding open, feeling that reach through your body. And as you exhale, drawing it in. Stretch out to a star. One more time. We're going to work with our legs here for a minute. With your heels dragging a bit on the ground. Drag your knees up and heels in. Internally rotate so knees come toward each other and press out through your heels again. The heels stay on the ground the whole time. Drag them in. Now knees wide and push your feet out again. Drag your feet in and go back to internal rotation. So just a few passes of moving your knees back up, externally rotating, stay in that external rotation to draw them back in and then move back to internal. So just kind of feeling into some of the muscles around your hip joints. There's a lot of dynamic movement that your hips do. And we weight bear while we do this dynamic movement. So it's kind of amazing that all these smaller muscles are so stabilizing for these big joints that carry a lot of burden of weight bearing through our day. All right, and then put your feet on the ground. Rest your hips for a minute. Take your arms out to the sides And let's windshield wiper our knees left and right. And feel free to turn your head in opposition of your knees. Go as fast or as slow as your body pace wants to be right now. Make sure you're still breathing. All right. Shift your hips all the way a bit more to the right and drop your knees left. And let's open up the chest a little bit more. Turn your head to the right as your knees go left. Of course, you can hold your knees with your left hand. You can put a block underneath your knees if you need to. And let's slide around in our upper body now. So as your head turns left, slide your hand down on the ground toward your hip, keeping the hand on the ground. Slide it up in an arc as you turn your head right. So I always think of this as like a half snow angel with your right arm. So we're not picking it up off the ground. We're keeping the hand on the ground, and you can have the back of your hand on the ground, or you can slide your fingertips, whatever feels good. Just turning your head and opening up through your shoulder, nice and gentle. And then stretch out to a star. Reach your body into space. Exhale, knees come back into your chest. You might need to adjust your hips and put your feet onto the ground again. Lift your hips up, scoot them over to the left. Knees up, drop them to the right. Coming into a twist here. Turn your head and just gently breathe. Feel into that subtlety of awareness of your body. So there's nothing extreme, but we're just sensing how our body is in space. Start to feel that arm movement in the half snow angel here. And you might prefer turning your head a different way. Just see what feels good. Which way do you want to turn your head as you slide your arm in that arc on the ground? Breathing deeply, just enjoying a subtle opening across your ribs, your breath, your shoulder. All right, and then coming back one more time to a star on the ground, reaching your limbs, wiggle your fingers and your toes again. Exhale, knees draw in, pick up your head, put your head down, grab onto the backs of your knees or the bottom of your feet, and come to a happy baby pose. And let's rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. So you feel that sense of ease across your low back, hopefully. And then lift your legs straight up in the air. Maybe your arms come overhead, maybe they're down at the sides. See what it feels like to ground your torso, to feel your ribs draw down toward the earth, to feel that stability through your core. And then maybe your legs can lower all the way down to the ground with your legs straight. Of course, if you need to bend your knees, do so. Stimulating some engagement in the center body. Once you're down there, go ahead and roll over to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. All right, so the gift of cat-cow. Hopefully you give yourself this gift every day. Okay, let's feel some movement in our vertebrae, feeling that rounding of the spine, the arching of the spine, feeling that beautiful sense of mobility through the shoulder blades, the vertebrae, the rib cage, pelvis, the head, all the ways in which you're moving right now. All right, and then feel free to turn the pose into any kind of movement potential that feels really nice to you. All right, and then drop back down into child's pose. Walk the hands far out in front of you. Find your way into a deep forward fold. Maybe you want to do a little movement here. Maybe a little rocking feels good, or slithering around. Maybe very still feels good. Breathe into the spine. Drop some weight into your hips. Feel that deep compression in your knees and in your hips. And let's walk our hands over to one side so we open up the rib cage and feel that deep sense of space. Relax the base of the skull. Find the joy in your breath. And remember these deposits that we put in the bank every time, come to the other side, every time we step onto our mat. It's hard to quantify. And sometimes the best way to notice how much your practice is serving you, besides situations like I was talking about earlier, kind of bringing these tools to awareness when you need them, is to pay attention to how you feel when you don't do yoga. Because of course there's times where you go a few days or even a few weeks without having your practice, and notice, what changes in your mind, what changes in your body when you don't have that consistent practice. And to me, that's one of the also the gifts of noticing the impact of what this does for you. Let's come back up onto all fours. Curl your toes under, so you slide back toward a child's pose with your toes curled under. Be very gentle with your feet and just open up. See if you can stretch open the calves, stretch open the Achilles, spread your toes. Breathing well. And let's come back onto all fours. Maybe give your feet a little bit of a tap, and let's move through a twist here, reaching one arm all the way up. Exhale and slide that shoulder down, draw your arm under and twist your body. Breathe well. Can you enjoy the way your breath is meeting up against something? Can you sense your shoulder blade spreading and broadening? And when you're ready, lift that arm all the way back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm high. Exhale, slide your arm under. Gazing toward the ground. A full breath here. Full inhale. A full exhale. You're ready? Take your time. Let's reach that arm all the way back up in the air and down onto the ground. Find a dog pose and take your time. Some pedaling of your feet, some moving around in your body. Take your time to notice how your body's moving, how your body's breathing. And spread the bones of your feet, spread the bones of your hands, and just enjoy. Feel your heart lift and lengthen. Feel your legs lift and lengthen. Feel the deep grounding. Spread the bones of your hands and feet again. Get a wide, broad base of support to yield into. Let your face relax. Feel the fullness of your breath. Then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana, deep fold. Let your knees bend as much as you want to. Bobble your head. Feel the ease. Inhale for a halfway lift, gathering some length in your spine. Exhale and melt again. Let's come to a halfway lift one more time. Hands on blocks if you want, so that you have some good height. And just see what it feels like while we're in this halfway lift to pedal your feet again. Bend one knee, let that other heel drop and sink, and go the other side. Notice the hips. See if you can draw that hip back. Keep lifting the hip up. And just enjoy the little zing. Maybe I feel a little zing. Maybe you feel a little zing in the back of your legs, all the way from your feet to your hips. All right, and then ground yourself again. Push off your feet, rising up. reaching the arms upward to the sky. A big open heart, lift to the day. Feel the expansion, the courage to keep that heart open, available. And let's square off the shoulders, the elbows, cactus your arms. Feel the back body. Say hello back there. Squeeze back there. And then exhale and round and chin to chest. Let the back body open up. Reach the arms back to the sky. Grab onto your right wrist with your left hand. Stretch over to the side. Maybe a little wider with your feet if you need a broader base. Open up through the sides of your body. Round through the feet, the inner feet too. Open up again, other side. Reach and extend. A little tug on that wrist to lift your ribs up into your shoulder, to drop your hip down into your heel. And then come back to center. Cactus your arms one more time. And then release your hands down. Give your hands a shake. Roll your wrists, open and close your fists. And then interlace your hands behind your back. I'm going to use a strap. And so if you can't comfortably reach, you can always use a strap. Open across the fronts of your shoulders. Pause here for a moment. So we have this sense we're not pushing our torso forward. We're staying integrated, but we're reaching the heads of the arm bones back. Open across the fronts of your shoulders. Relax your neck. And when you feel ready, bend your knees and lift your arms away from your spine. Relax your head. Feel your breathing. And then release your arms. Let go. Bring them down to the ground. A halfway lift, extending the spine. Belt and fold here again. Step your left foot back. Come to a lunge. And notice we do these poses all the time. Are you feeling the joy of just opening up your body? Heart expansive, shoulder blades down the back. Feeling the hip flexors broaden and open, and let's start to move. Bending and straightening the front knees. Feel free to bow the head. Feel free to open the hearts. Just see what it feels like to have this be a full body pose. It's not just about that front leg. Full breaths. All right, come to a lunge. Ground your feet. Inhale, coming all the way up, feeling that extension and expansion. Big open heart, open breath. Now let's grab onto the left wrist with the right hand. A little bit of an extension here. Feel those that hip flexor open up. And then we're gonna come reaching forward on an angle. Put your forearm on your knee, put your elbow on your knee, whatever you want, or back off and put your hand on a block, and let's find a twist. So wherever, however deep you want to go. Wide sit bones, keep lifting that back femur bone, long crown to tail. And then exhale and release your hands down. Walk your back foot forward, fold deeply, feel that symmetry. Inhale for a halfway lift, belting and folding. Step the other foot back, come to a lunge, feeling your way into the open heart. Big breath. Hip flexors opening wide. And then let's start to move. When you feel ready, bend, straighten. See your breath travel through your body. Isn't it so nice to feel the sensation of stretching? You know, it's this when we go this back and forth, there's this beautiful opening of our muscles, of all the fascia in our body, our ligaments and our tendons and our joints. There's just, attending to the nourishment and the lubrication and the freedom that we're finding in our body. All right, so ground yourself, find your breath again. Feel your roots in your lunge. When you feel ready, bring your arms up, And always you can modify anything and everything. You can bend the back knee a little bit more. You can bring the arms into a different position. So always follow the principles of alignment instead of quote unquote rules of alignment. You don't have to form a certain shape. You want to form a certain sensation of stability, of freedom. I feel the roundedness of your shoulders. Release the base of your skull. Send some roots down into your legs. Engage your core a bit. Let's grab hold of that right wrist and feel that extension and the opening through your side here. Keep hugging to the midline with your legs. Stay grounded. Press your front heel down. And then a little bit of a twist as you come to this side. Now, if you put your hand on a block on the other side, try to do the same thing on this side. Okay, so whatever pose you found yourself entering into on the other side, see if you can go here too. Hug the midline, lift that back thigh, press into the front foot, wide sit bones, a long spine, twisting on your exhales. And then come back down to center with your hands front foot back, dog pose. Enjoy the sense of neutrality, root to rise, melt your face, find your breath. Come forward into a plank so you meet up with that stability and rootedness in the body. Shoulders away from the ears and integrating the center. Turn your navel a little bit to the right. And back to center. Turn your navel a little bit to the left. Back to center. Put your knees down on the ground if you need that support. Find the ground with your torso. Okay, roll the shoulders a few times. Notice any tension that's there. Inhale, push up. A cobra pose, a big open breath. Exhale. Freedom as you come back down. Let all the breath out. Maybe another repeat, maybe a different position with the arms. Stretch into that back bend. As your exhale comes, relax and melt. Come up onto all fours and have another wiggle of the spine. All right, take your right foot straight back behind you. Cross that foot over the left. Toes are still on the ground. Face the ground with your pelvis, shoulders, and head. And then turn and look out over the left, looking at your right foot. So you feel that low back open up. You feel your side waist open up. And then come back to center. Put that knee on the ground. Other side. Stretch that left foot back. Curl your toes under. Stretch through your heel. Cross the left leg over to the right. Face the ground with your torso. And turn and look out over that foot. Feeling the deep low back muscles open on that side. Maybe you feel a little stretch across your hip or your ribs, that transverse abdominis. And then come back to center. And we're going to find our way onto our right side. Lying down, bend your knees. You can always have some support if you need it with a block under your head. Bend your knees. We're going to take your top. So we're on our right side. Left hand is going to come to the top of your head, like you're holding the puppet strings on the top of your head. And we're going to lift up our feet and our torso into a side bend. Knees stay on the ground. And then we inhale to come back. So remember to exhale on the way up. Feet come up, torso comes up a little bit. Inhale on the way back down. Try not to just yank on your head. See if you can lift through your chest. We're bending that side body. Feet come up and come back down. So just do a few passes, moving with your breath. As you exhale, we're lifting up. And as we inhale, we're dropping down. Isolating that quadratus lumborum, that deep low back muscle that can be a little bit of a niggle for, it can niggle us a lot. There's can be like a little strain, a little stress, a little bite in that muscle sometimes. All right, relax, and we'll find our way, roll over and come to your second side. Okay. So as you rest, make sure your knees are bent. Take your hand to the top of your head. So we have this sense of supporting the full spine from crown to tail. As you exhale, pick up your feet and your torso a bit. As you inhale, lower back down. Okay, try to keep your neck fairly neutral. We're doing this from our side body. We're not trying to pull our head toward our feet. We're trying to pull our ribs and our feet toward each other. How's your breathing? See if you can exhale on the way up and inhale on the way down. How does this side feel compared to the other side? Is there more awareness, a little less awareness? Do you have any absenteeism in your body? Is there any pain or discomfort, or do you feel stronger? Compare your sides. And then relax, and let's roll back onto our back for a star on the ground, reaching your limbs wide, wiggle your fingers and your toes, drawing your knees into your chest, and give yourself a hug. And then roll to your side and come back up onto all fours. All right, move your spine around, some wiggles, some sways, whatever feels good. Curl the toes under and feel some length as you reach to another dog pose. Notice how your body's changing and feeling. Are you feeling more free, more present, more open, more available in your body in any way? Let's walk our feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Blocks are nice. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt to fold. Step your left foot back, right foot's in front, shorter stance. So Parsvottanasana, legs. Hands on your hips as you come upright. Find the open heart, and as we press our feet into the ground, see if you can zip up the zipper from your pubic bone to your sternum. Lean back a little bit if it feels good. And then as you come forward into Parsvottanasana, see if you can stabilize. Root into your feet. Feel the backs of your legs from your glutes to your hamstrings. Work for this posture. Engage your core to support your spine. Feel the length in your body. Okay, so it's a unique feeling to have your hamstring and your glutes be lengthened but engaged. And then inhale and climb all the way back up. Arms up. Feel that extension, and let's twist with our legs straight. So turning to the side, drop your shoulders. Feel the inner spiral of your thighs, that internal rotation we developed in the very beginning of class when we were in the star and moving, dragging our feet. Feel that internal rotation. And then inhale, bring your arms back up and bring your body forward. As you come down, bringing the hands onto blocks, let's try not to just lean on the blocks. Be lighthearted, light-weighted on those blocks, squaring the hips, wide sit bones, internally rotating again. Root through your right big toe as you reach that hip back. Feel that good stretch through a lot of those outer hip muscles, a long spine. And then to feel all the strength of these areas of your body, come up onto your right foot, hands on blocks, half splits. All right, so square off the pelvis, internally rotate that thigh in the air, and feel your crown and your tail reach and move away from each other. Remember, your core is here for you, so we're not just slagged in our torso, we're engaged. Deep breath in, and as you exhale, squat down, one-legged squat. Maybe bow your head, maybe tuck your knee behind your knee, and then slowly push off your feet to lengthen. One more time. Exhaling to drop in. Inhaling to press straight. Put your foot down onto the ground. A half lift, a half lift. Exhale and fold. Step your left foot in front, right foot back. Shorter stance with your legs. Come on up. Reaching the arms to the sky if that's a happy place for your body. Ground and lengthen, both. Root to rise. Find your breath. Let's twist open here, turning to the left. Arms are wide, chest is broad. Internally spiral your legs. Root into your feet. Drop the shoulders. And inhale, bringing the arms back up. Hands on your hips and extend a little bit. So see what it feels like. You don't have to go, we're not bringing our hands down onto the blocks yet. We're just feeling what it feels like to engage the back body while lengthening the back body. You know, this sense of holding our muscles taut when they're in an extended, lengthened position. What a beautiful thing that we have this capacity. All right, so draw your core in. See if you can support. Root into your feet. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Arms to the sky. As we come down again and come forward, we're going to bring our hands onto the blocks, but try not to give everything to the blocks. Okay, so a lightness in our being. Root into the feet. An inner spiral with the legs. Draw that left hip back as you stay grounded through the left big toe. Feel the length of your body, maybe a little bit of a head bow, maybe just see what that feels like in your spine and the muscles along the back body. How's your breathing? All right, we're gonna hop up onto that left foot, come into half splits, extending through your spine, square hips. Internally rotate the leg in the air. Lift your left hip high, root your left foot down. Core is engaged. Feel that integration into the ribs. Lengthen the crown to tail to foot. Deep breath as you exhale. Squat in, drop down, relax your head. Slowly push up straight, lengthening that leg behind you. Once or twice more. I can't remember if we did 2 or 3 on the other side, so see if you can get yourself nice and balanced. Breathing well. And once you're done with those Jiva squats, put your foot down onto the ground and even things out. And just wait until you feel like your body has come back to a state of equilibrium. The halfway lift, so sit bones get high, root the feet. Exhale, bend your knees, relax your spine, waterfall toward the ground. Just draw off your feet, rise up, bringing the arms, expand open. Okay, maybe a cactus of your arms, maybe an arm's reaching out, wherever you want to be in space. And then release, come into Tadasana and just give your hands a little bit of a shake. Maybe come up onto your toes and then up onto your heels. Kind of touch in with those extremities again. All right, and then feel Tadasana. You can always stick a block between your thighs if you need it for this. Squat down to a chair. Okay, you can have your legs together. You can have a block between your thighs. Inhale, arms coming up. Feeling that breath. And we're going to move through this. If this makes you dizzy, just stay in a chair. Exhale. Body lowers, arms back. Inhale all the way up onto your toes. Exhale, back to a chair, arms back. Lean forward. One more time, all the way up. And then one more time, we'll stay in a chair. Feel free to put your arms somewhere else besides overhead if that's better for you. Find your breath. Maybe pulse a few times. Say hi to your legs. And slow-mo, push up straight. Maybe up onto your toes if you'd like. And then heels back down, arms down at your sides. Grab your block or blocks. We'll take our right foot in front and our left foot behind. Urdhva legs. So hips are square to the front, feet are not super long away from each other. You can always take your right foot out to the right a little bit more. Block or blocks on the inside edge of your foot. Hand on hip. Reach the left arm up in the air. Feel that extension. Maybe you want a little pause there to feel those back body muscles again. And then fully lengthen and bring your hand onto the block or blocks. You can stack up whatever height you need underneath you. Squaring your hips, inner spiral of the thighs, so the inner groins roll back. The inner, we're internally rotating. Feel the ground. Lengthen the spine. Twist open into a revolved triangle pose. And you might notice once you start revolving, oh, I need my feet wider apart. I need my block under my hand adjusted a little bit. So, do the little minor adjustments that you need. Notice the right hip. Try not to push it out. Draw it in toward the midline. Engage your core as you twist. Root into the feet. Drop weight into that right big toe. Drop your shoulder blades down the back. Open across the collarbones. Feel the crown lengthen. Melt through the base of your skull. There's so much to explore in your body. How's your breathing? And relax and bring that hand back down. Back foot comes forward. Halfway lift. Feel that neutrality of your pelvis, your spine. And then exhale and melt. Grab onto your elbows and let your spine lengthen. Breathing deeply. And then bring your hands back onto the blocks and step your right foot back. Left foot is in front. Parsvottanasana with your legs. Inhale to come back up to stand. How's your back? Kind of check in. How are the twists feeling? Twists aren't always so easy in the body, so kind of check in, make sure your body's responding well to the poses, modify anything you need. Let's reach the right arm up in the air, left hand on your hip. Feel that extension, maybe a little tipping forward, but maybe this is a little challenging on your back and you go right down to the block. So just kind of find the pathway for you. If you're hanging out here for a moment, enjoy. Root into the feet, engage your core, and then find your way toward the block. Lightness on the block. Straight legs. Adjust anything that needs adjusting. Maybe your left foot needs to go out to the left a little bit more. Maybe your hand on the block needs to go out to the right a little bit more. Just kind of find where you are. Lengthen your spine before you twist. Make sure the vertebrae are spacious. And when you feel ready, you can twist into the pose. Hug that left hip in toward the midline and reach it back. Round both feet, especially that front big toe. The inner spiral of the thighs. The long, long spine. The using of the core on the exhales to twist your body open. Shoulder blades down, the collarbones buoyant. Relax your neck. Notice your breathing. Ready. Come out of the pose and bring your hands down for a dog pose and take your feet back. Maybe you want wide legs. Maybe you want neutral legs. See what feels good. A full breath in. Full breath out. Let's come forward into a plank, holding that sturdy self, shoulder blades down, core engaged. Knees can come first or find all your body to the floor. Shoulder roll and then a lift of the heart. Exhale and come back down. Come up onto all fours. Give your spine a nice little wiggle. And as you come back towards child's pose, compress the hips. Feel that anterior tilt to the pelvis. And come down to rest. Your arms can be above your head or down at your sides or anywhere that serves. Breathe right under your sacrum. See if you can feel the buoyancy of your sacrum as you breathe. Feel that neutrality of your pelvis. All right, let's go ahead and come back onto our back. Grab a block if you want. You can do this pose actively if you prefer, but we're going to come into a supported bridge for a moment if you're following me. You can always do an active bridge pose if you prefer. This is just to kind of sense into that, the neutrality, kind of getting your pelvis to return back to a neutral place, a sense of stability left to right. Feel if you're, even if you're like me and I'm on a low height of the block across my sacrum, so I'm weight bearing on the block. I'm not doing the active version of the pose. But even still, I'm giving a little teeny bit of weight into my feet. I'm not just, hovering over the ground. I'm feeling my rootedness. Full breaths here. You always have choices. If you'd like to lift your legs straight up in the air, or a bit of, kind of inverting, getting the weight of your legs to drop into your pelvis, you can lift your legs up or you can keep where you were. How's your breathing? All right, let's lower our feet down, lift the hips up, get the block out of there. A little wobble, don't do a twist, just a nice little wobble. And then let's reverse the pigeon, right foot on our left knee. Grab behind your thigh or the front of your shin or put your foot on a wall. And just open up those outer hip muscles a little bit. A full breath here, melting your shoulders, melting your skull. Two feet down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Grab behind your right hamstring, left foot on your right knee. Now notice your pelvis. Try not to, do weird things with torsion. So
You want your hip bones to be parallel to each other. Feel on your ground that your sacrum's not portioning over to one side, or you're not tipping to your left or right. Relax the shoulders. And then release your legs, and let's find Shavasana. Of course, if there's anything else your body needs, take whatever you need and see what it feels like to just melt. As you get your body comfortable with whatever support's needed, once you're there, melt what you can. Feel your head drop its weight, your arms drop their weight, your torso drop its weight, your pelvis drop its weight, your legs drop its weight. Fill and empty the breath, steady and full. Breathe deeply. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Any kind of movement in the body that's good for you to cultivate that transition.
Eventually finding your side. Eventually finding your seat. Taking your time, always taking your time. As you come to a comfortable seat, breathe. Bring in the full inhale, the full exhale. Relax. Notice your groundedness, hopefully, a sense of self, present moment awareness. Notice the gifts of your practice. And bring your palms together. Let's just offer, send your love, your care, your good wishes, your highest vibrations outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.